Yet another thing that you can do with the SP404 is you can utilize the DJ mode, which allows you to treat this like two virtual turntables and play for as long as you want, which is really, really cool. Mainly because it works a lot like proper DJ software. You can adjust the tempo, you can bend the tempo, you can do beat syncing, you can send audio to a cue output so you can monitor through your headphones without the party hearing what you're trying to cue up next. It's like a proper DJ setup. It's pretty impressive. To get to the DJ mode, what we need to do is press two bank buttons at the same time. And it's funny because I'm sure they thought of this. The bank buttons are D/I and E/J. It starts with D and it ends with J. So we press these two bank buttons, boop, and now we are in the DJ mode. In the DJ mode, this is set up so that each one of these, either side of the 16 pads here represents either channel 1, so this would be like my one turntable, and then channel 2 would be my other turntable, all right? I can control the volume of both of these channels by using my knobs here. And in my utilities, I have this set up so that my knobs are in a pickup mode, so that as I adjust the knobs, it won't control the parameter until that parameter is picked up by the current state of the knob. All right, so this way I don't get crazy jumps in parameters, because that can be another thing that's a showstopper if you're using this live. All right, so these both let me control the volumes of channels 1 and 2. And let me just go ahead and set these to a decent level. Knob 3 can determine what goes to the cue or the main output. And I'll just put this in the middle. And I can also utilize this if I press the start button. I can toggle between that and a crossfader. And for me, the crossfader is way more useful because now I feel like I got a proper 2 turntable and mixer setup. Nice. All right, so again, we can just toggle between cue mix and crossfader by hitting start and. All right. If we want to load sounds, load songs into our virtual decks, all we have to do is press the encoder button here, and we can choose something to load into channel 1 on this side, which I have. I got some beats in this project. And also what we want to load into channel 2. This can be done in real time, obviously, as the music is playing, so this doesn't all have to be pre-set up. However, these songs should be loaded into your project before you start this. This is not the kind of thing where you're going to be like trying to load things off of your SD card in real time, because I promise you, it's not the result that you want. It's not going to work that way. So in this particular project, I have like 120 beats that I've made, all loaded, and I can bring these in whenever I want. The tempo that it determines up here is based on the tempo that you've entered for the sample. So if the tempo that it displays isn't correct, for example, I know for a fact both of these songs are 150 beats per minute because I wrote the title, or I wrote the tempo in the name, all right? It's assuming the tempo is 149.99, which is not terrible, but if I go to channel 2, this is 154, I think the tempo is 153. Okay, all right, it's not completely off, but it's not entirely accurate. If I want to fix that myself, I need to get out of the DJ mode, and then I can select my samples. There's that. And there's that. And I can manually change the tempo, which we know by going into the pitch speed area. And I can manual and oops, there we go. Let me fine tune that. Okay, so that's 150 for that. That's great. This one should be 154. So I'm going to fine tune this so we can get right to 154. Perfect. Now when I go back to the DJ mode, it's going to use those tempos to determine what it thinks it should be. All right, so now. Yep, there we go. Excellent. Okay, so at this point now, I can simply start playing stuff. I can use this like a DJ setup. And we'll talk more about like how functionally these things work and try to do some quick beat matching before we move on.